Have you ever seen that famous diagram showing specific areas of your tongue for sweet, sour, salty, and bitter tastes? It's often called the tongue map, but is it actually true, or is it one of the most persistent myths in science class? Let's dive in and find out. The classic tongue map shows sweet receptors primarily at the tip, salty on the front sides, sour on the back sides, and bitter right at the very back. This diagram has been taught in schools for generations, giving the impression that taste works like a keyboard, with each key responsible for one sound. But the reality is that your tongue is much more like a sensory orchestra. The origin of this famous map dates back to 1901 with a German study by psychologist David Hinnig. Hinnig did note that there were slight differences in sensitivity, but his findings were subtle. The true mistake came in 1942 when a Harvard psychologist, Edwin Boring, reviewed Hinnig's work. In a critical translation error, Boring oversimplified and exaggerated those small differences, concluding incorrectly that each flavor was restricted to a single zone. The inaccurate tongue map was born. So, what does modern science say? It turns out your entire tongue, except for the very center, is covered in tiny bumps called papillae. Within these papillae are hundreds of taste buds. The key fact is that every single taste bud contains receptor cells for all 5 basic tastes: sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and the 5th taste, umami or savory. While some areas may have a marginally lower threshold for one flavor over another, meaning they detect it slightly sooner, the difference is negligible. In reality, you can taste all 5 basic flavors on all parts of your tongue that have taste buds. Your tasting is a distributed process, not a segregated one. If you put sugar on the back of your tongue, you taste sweetness just fine. Furthermore, the flavor experience is about much more than just your tongue. What we perceive as taste is actually a complex sensory combination. Up to 80% of what we call flavor comes from our sense of smell. When you have a cold and your nose is blocked, food tastes bland because the aromatic compounds can't reach your olfactory system. Texture, temperature, and even sight all contribute to the final delicious profile the brain registers. The takeaway: the tongue map is a charming piece of outdated history. You are fully equipped to taste every single flavor, everywhere on your tongue, in concert with your powerful sense of smell. So, go enjoy a meal and appreciate the full, integrated tasting experience.